Okay, welcome to the OBU Rejects Podcast. I'm Rachel Cinsano, and with my co-host, Noah Grimes.
What's up, y'all?
So this is our very first podcast ever, and we really have no idea what we're doing or what we're going to be talking about, but we just decided this.
Well, we started this because we know everyone, Ouachita and non-Ouachita, is at home doing nothing. So we figured, hey, and this isn't affiliated with Ouachita at all. But,
yeah, just a little disclaimer. So if we say anything bad, Ben Sells
it will be in the description at the bottom. Or not, who knows? I may decide to scrap this entire thing.
Yeah, so we just both have way too much time on our hands, so we decided to make a podcast and just kind of see what happens. So we're both freshmen at Ouachita. We just finished our freshman year. We got sent home early because of the coronavirus. So we're both at home on Zoom doing the best we can.
I did not have it.
You did not have what?
I did not have the corona, but I kind of wish I did. No, I'm joking.
Oh, because then I'd have to do this podcast by myself. Wow,
so how selfish of you.
So we're both communication majors. I'm on the swim team, so I don't really. Yeah, he is not. He's not in any sport. I wish I wasn't in any sport. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
So coach that.
Don't tell my coach that. So at Ouachita, there's definitely like, I don't know, what would you call it? Like legends or stories?
Yeah. So I didn't know this going in, but for the past couple of weeks, being home gives you a lot of time to think about things. And I've been on Facebook, that ancient thing.
Are you an old lady?
An old white lady, yes. So I was searching and I found one of Ouachita's posts about Cone Bottoms, a bunch of alumni.
Yes, so Cone Bottoms is like the big administration building in the front. It's kind of like the cover building for Ouachita if you don't go to Ouachita.
It's one of the first buildings you'll see once you enter campus. You'll see Flippin' Parent, the freshman guy dorms, and then right next to it is Cone Bottoms.
Right, and apparently it's haunted, according to legend, which is kind of a big deal because like a Baptist school being haunted, like that's a little.
Yeah, especially when you hear the backstory. Okay, so long story short, Cone Bottoms it wasn't back in the, I believe, I could be butchering this, we can get a bunch of alumni coming out here like,
and that's why we're the Ouachita Rejects.
Yes. Yes, if we do not get kicked out of Ouachita by the end of this podcast, it will be a failure. Just joking. So apparently from like late 70s to mid to late 90s, so it was a girls' dorm, and then it closed down for a brief period of time, and they remodeled. I don't exactly know if they remodeled it or if they.
I think they did.
And then it became, I'm pretty sure, because you look at it now, it does not look like a dorm.
Yeah, it looks so much better.
Different. But it's now an administration building. But apparently when it was a freshman girls' dorm, a lot of the upperclassmen would tell lowerclassmen about the story of the lady in black who supposedly haunts Cone Bottoms. And yes, funny name, we get it. We've been laughing at it the entire time.
Yeah. But I mean, Ouachita is a funny name too, so like it kind of fits the whole.
Yeah, but Ouachita's Native American. Cone Bottoms just sounds like a white person. That was like, that looks like a good name. Cone Bottoms.
Anyway, so when Cone Bottoms was originally a girls' dorm, there was the story about the lady in black. And so there's a lot of different versions of the story, so we're not really sure which one is true. But one of the versions of the story is that there was a girl who went to Ouachita and she was staying in the Cone Bottoms dorm, and her boyfriend died in military service or something like that. Do you know what?
World War II.
World War II?
Is the story.
And she was so upset that she like jumped down the elevator shaft or something in Cone Bottoms, and then ever since then her ghost has like haunted Cone Bottoms. Another story is that so this version of the story needs a little bit of backstory. So across the street from Ouachita is a school called Henderson State. And so there's obviously, because we're like literally right across the street, there's a huge rivalry between Ouachita and Henderson. So there's this big Battle of the Ravine game when when Henderson and OBU plays each other. And so I guess kind of dating a Henderson person like not okay? Or is that
I think now it's more acceptable than it used to be, because I think it used to be like a big no-no. Like you don't cross. But I think
really a Ouachita reject if you dated a Henderson guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
I think now it's more chill.
Yeah. So back then it was like a big no-no. So this girl from OBU was dating a Henderson guy, and the Henderson guy was like, "Hey, we can't date anymore because we go to two different schools and we're about to have the big Battle of the Ravine football game or whatever." So he broke up with her, and she was so upset that like she either jumped in the river or jumped down an elevator shaft. I'm not sure. Somehow she committed suicide, and that's the story of how she's been haunting Cone Bottoms. But we don't really know which one is true, but we do know that upperclassmen...
We don't even know if it's true at all.
Yeah, we don't... Yeah.
Because we don't know if it was just made up
one
year by upperclassmen to scare...
Because that's what the story's used for now, is like upperclassmen scare the freshmen, and like some of the upperclassmen would dress up as the lady in black and like be like, "Oh my gosh, it's haunted, I'm a ghost."
Well, like based on the comments from alumni, it looked like a lot of betas which is the most beta thing ever.
Of course. So beta is the social club on our campus who's kind of like your typical like frat boy, like, "Oh, I'm so cool, I'm so much better than you."
Baptist school, we can't have frat. It's a frat. Like there are some social clubs that are social clubs, and then there are some that are frats.
Yeah.
Beta's a frat.
Yes, for sure. Yes. You either love them or you hate them. But anyway, yes.
But yeah, no, that I call them the reject jocks. So they're Ouachita's reject jocks.
Are any of them actually athletes?
I think there are a couple football players.
You sure?
Who? I think so. I don't know. Why would you think I don't talk to betas?
Neither do I. I don't talk to anybody, unless it's the swim team.
That's true. Or people in the communications department.
You.
Me.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the legend or conspiracy theory or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, which, it's funny because this was one of the first things, me and Rachel, we during summer, not during summer, we didn't know each other during summer, but during this break, we're bored and we're like, what is a way we could get people, talk to each other and get people involved, like, on a podcast type deal. So Rachel's like, serial killers. That was the first thing that she said.
Okay, so I don't sound like a psychopath. Let me explain. Like, what else would we talk about? There's nothing else going on in the world. So serial killers is like an obvious, like intriguing, like kind of like not fun. I don't want to say fun because then I sound like a psycho. But like,
yeah, you're digging yourself in a deeper hole here. So moving on. So instead, I remember seeing this on Facebook. I was like, "Hey, Rachel, why don't we just do a conspiracy one?"
And I love conspiracy theories.
Yes. If you don't love conspiracy theories,
what is wrong with you?
You shouldn't be going to college because you don't have an IQ large enough to go to college. Again, don't take anything we say in this podcast that seriously.
Yeah.
Like, disclaimer, about we're not affiliated with Ouachita. Don't take almost anything we say that seriously on this.
Yeah, we probably are wrong.
We know a lot less than we sound like we do. And if we don't sound like we know stuff, that's right, because we really don't know anything.
We don't. We Googled this like 10 minutes before we started.
We don't need to reveal that much. Thank you, Rachel.
Do we need to start it over?
No.
I'm kidding.
But yeah, so I found this story and I was like, "Hey, Rachel, let's do this." So yeah, so we have a couple coming down the pike. This was fun. And if you guys know any more, please.
Yeah, please let us know because I would love to.
Yeah, comment below, or you can easily find us. Most of y'all probably already know us if you are an OBU student or staff member. you probably know of me or her.
Unfortunately.
Wow. Yeah. Which is sad because this is the OBU Rejects podcast, and yet OBU is so small, it's kind of hard
to not know everyone. That's okay. How do you feel about that? Because you went to a big high school. Did you know everyone in your high school or not? I was homeschooled, so I didn't.
Yeah, you're probably used to this social distancing. You're like, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, no, everyone's like freaking out about, oh my gosh, I have to stay home. I'm like, literally, I did this for 18 years of my life, and I turned out fine. So like, I'm just kidding. But do you like that about OBU, like knowing everyone or not? Like, because that's not really what you're used to, is it?
It's not. But at my high school, I didn't want to know everyone. For those of you that went to private schools, especially small private schools.
That's funny. Like, who did you not want to
know? There were a lot of people. But moving away from that, I've lived in both a smaller and a large public schools my entire life. So there's certainly large groups in public schools you want to avoid. It's just different. Public school, you can say, they encourage you to think freely, and there are certain things you can and can't say. With private school, it's more, rigid, depending on the school, because not everyone's the same. If you went to a Catholic school, I'm sure that's different than if you went to, I don't know, a Lutheran. I don't know. I've never been to either of these schools. I don't know, a charter school. But it's different. You don't, and they don't really encourage socializing in public schools. Like, that's not normally
really
something.
I thought that was like the point of public school, was like,
it's weird, because public school, it's a weird thing, because I felt like at Ouachita they really pushed getting to know
for sure
classmates.
Well, because there's nothing else to do at Ouachita besides get to know people, so that's kind of like the big.
And that's not in my, like, I don't see that as a bad thing. Like, that's perfectly fine. And, like, socialize, become friends with people. That's how you get jobs later in life.
Connections.
Yeah. I'm going to have an entire episode on wrecking why the entire connections class is dumb at Ouachita.
Oh my gosh, I have a story about the connections class.
Okay, later.
Okay, sorry, later.
Yeah. But yeah, so I feel like Ouachita is a lot better than even probably most private schools about getting to know people, knowing people's names. And let's face it, especially during this extended long break with it going into the summer, we're not going to remember anyone's names.
Oh, for sure, no. I don't even remember people's names when I see them every day. Like, I'm so bad about remembering people's names.
True. Well, people say my last name because, freshman, there's so many Noahs. So...
people don't know how to pronounce my last name, so they don't say my last name. But you have an easy one, so...
Well, yeah, I have an easy last name, Grimes. Yeah. But... and there's like 3 or 4 Noahs in the freshman class. So like,
for real?
People just call me by my last name. Yeah, no, we have the most. It's the highest name in our freshman class.
Dang. Yeah. I don't think I've even met another Rachel at Ouachita, to be honest. I haven't met very many people at Ouachita, but I don't think I've met another.
There is a communications major, Rachel.
Really?
I believe she's a senior though.
Oh. Ooh, next year I'm gonna be the only Rachel in the communications. Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Wow.
Oh, I forgot this is recorded.
It's fine. We can banter.
Okay, we can banter.
Talk trash about anyone. Hey, we're the Rejects. No one needs to.
Dude, we're gonna make so many people hate us. We're either gonna be made fun of so much for this, or so many people are gonna hate us. But they already do, so it's okay.
Fair point.
Everyone likes to make fun of my laugh on campus. They'll be like, oh my gosh, I heard your laugh from like 3 buildings away. I'm like, ha 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 ha, I'm sorry that I'm happy. Like, what do you want me to say to that? I don't know.
Yeah, but that's not just people at Ouachita, that's everyone.
Making fun of my laugh?
Yes.
Yeah, you're not
Okay.
wrong. My coach tries to imitate it, and he sounds like a cartoon character that's dying.
Well, now you know what you sound like.
Ha ha ha.
Huh?
I'm the only one that
Ha,
laughs at your
ha.
jokes, so I wouldn't insult my laugh.
Shit. It's because you laugh
Totally
at everything.
I'm totally kidding. No, I don't. So on the Signal, this girl that wrote the article about the lady in black, she also put an acronym that I just found at the end. Can I read the acronym?
Yes, you can, because I know what acronym you're talking about.
Okay, so it's a ghost acronym, and she said, I made an easy acronym for you to remember if you ever encounter a ghost. G, get yourself together. H, happy thoughts. Try to calm down and distract your mind by thinking about Chick-fil-A. And then she goes, O, out and away. She goes, don't stick around where the potential evil spirits are. S, safety first. And then T, take photos. Like, you're going to tell us to be safe and leave, and then you're going to tell us to stop and take a picture of the ghost?
Try to take a
Wait, do
quick
ghosts
selfie.
even show up on camera?
I don't.
Was that
I
a
mean,
thing? Because isn't there like
according-
something that doesn't show up on camera?
Yeah,
Or
vampires.
they do show up on camera, but
Vampires
they don't.
don't.
Oh, wrong. Sorry. Wrong thing.
Yeah.
So do ghosts show up on camera?
I think if they want to.
Are ghosts the ones that show up on camera but not in real life? Like if you take a picture of the room and you don't see anything, but in the picture you see like a ghost. Is that a thing?
I think you can see the shadow of one.
Oh, okay.
I'm not exactly sure. I think there's different myths that go on about that. I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, the Lady in Black legend was in the 1920s. So it was in the 20s and we're in the 20s now.
Wow.
Whoa. Maybe there'll be another Lady in Black this year.
No, because that would just mean Ouachita would be closed down again.
They'd close it down for that? I don't think they'd close it
If a girl
down.
committed suicide,
They'd close down the whole school?
I think they would close down the entire school if it
No.
Yes.
No. Why?
I think.
No, I don't want to
They'd have
like
to-
sound insensitive, but like
No, because they'd have to
like
investigate.
obviously that'd be horrible.
They'd have to investigate, and like
Oh.
they're gonna get a bunch of students and whoever, and because the entire school knows each other, most likely they're gonna have to interrogate everyone who.
That's
is
fair,
close
but
to
I feel
that
like they
person.
would just like close down where it happened. No, because like and when a crime
Either
happens, they
that
don't
or
close down the
classes-
whole city. They
either
just
that
close
or-
down where it was.
They might not close down school, but they'd cancel classes for a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then keep you keep everyone either on campus or around campus. I don't
Why?
think they'd.
I don't
I
know.
think life would go on as normal. I don't think.
I don't think it would go on as normal. I think there'd definitely be like changes, but I don't think they'd be like, oh my gosh, we're shutting everything down. You know what I mean?
Because I think Ouachita likes to overreact. and B,
Okay. Yikes.
That's with anything though. Like people are gonna
I mean, fair.
overreact with anything.
Coronavirus.
Take that comment as you want to take it. And leave angry. Don't leave angry.
Please don't. I might cry.
No, she won't. But yeah. So
I don't know. Hopefully we don't find out though. Hopefully that doesn't
yeah,
happen.
no. I doubt it will happen.
You know what building I feel like is for sure haunted?
Spec.
No, the music building.
Oh yeah.
There's like so
place-
many levels to the music building. There's like what? There's like three stories, and then there's a basement.
So
They
I
have
don't know
an
if this is-
elevator.
I don't know if this is true. I heard there are tunnels underneath the STU, which is the student center, Lyle, which is our communications department, and the music department.
There are for sure. Okay, there might not be tunnels under the music building, but like there's a creepy basement that's like one long like winding hallway.
Flippin' Parent has a basement,
Creeps
which I
me
didn't know
out.
about. Do you know Flippin' Parent had a basement?
Yes, I did know
Does
that.
Francie
yes.
Does Francie just have a basement?
I don't know, but I don't think so. I don't think
Because
so.
I'm pretty sure Barry Bible does.
Has a basement for real?
I
Oh my
think so.
gosh.
I may
Okay,
be
I have
wrong.
a question.
I
You
may
know
be
how-
wrong, so don't
Okay, I won't
take this as gospel. But
Don't people like Am I allowed to say that?
Yes. I don't know.
Don't people like do stuff in the Bible building? I heard that's a thing. Is that a thing or no?
I mean, if you've heard it's a thing, it probably is. I mean,
yikes. That's so sacrilegious.
Wouldn't have gone there, but I mean, I fully believe in the music hall one in the music building. Like, there are those tiny
practice rooms.
Practice rooms.
Yeah, that definitely is a thing.
And you know how there's those new study rooms now in the library?
Yes.
Where like it's a small room and it's just you. Man.
Wait, what? No, I didn't know about that. No, in the library, have you gone upstairs in the library? There's like a whole row of doors.
I've only gone upstairs once in the library.
You've only been have you ever been in the library? Do you study? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's a legitimately fair question. Yes, I do. Yes.
Noah and I sit next to each other for a couple communications classes, and
This is all we do.
All class, we just talk back and forth. But it's a miracle if he turns in an assignment. And if he turns in an assignment on time, it's literally like a work of God. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Noah gets his stuff done. I just give him a hard time.
Yeah, she does, and I give it back.
Yeah, we know. But yeah, you go upstairs in the library, and like there's a whole row of doors, and if you open one door, it's like super tiny, and like you can't even fit in there to sit down, but there's like a desk.
That's study room.
Really?
You go in, lock yourself in, and it's like for people who need to have that that deep concentration. Yeah, no, that's what that is.
But I don't think there's even like a light in there.
No, there is. I'm pretty sure there is.
Are you talking about new ones?
No, these are the ones you're talking about.
Like the older ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't like to go up there because it's claustrophobic.
Oh, for sure.
It's so small.
I tried to go in there one time, and I couldn't even take my backpack off my back. The room was so small.
Yeah. I know people normally just go in there with their laptop and a pencil.
Dang.
Like they don't bring anything else in because they can't fit.
That's hilarious.
But I'm someone who needs not that much around me to focus because I get distracted really easily. But that would drive me crazy, just being stuck in a tiny little capsule. Yeah, no.
For sure. No, but you know where the best spot to study in the library is? If I say it on here, it's going to give it away, and then people are going to use it. Actually, no, because probably no one's going to listen to this. But if you go upstairs in the library and go in I think it's like the left corner, there's this chair, this bright red chair, and it's the comfiest chair in the entire world. There's a fan right there, so you never get hot. There's an outlet, so you can plug in your phone, you can plug in your computer, and there's even a table right next to the chair for snacks and stuff. It's the perfect study spot.
You can't bring in food to the library. You just revealed yourself there.
I mean, theoretically, if you could bring food in. It would hypothetically be a great place for a chicken sandwich or something.
This is the person who brings in chick every class.
Hey, being hangry is a real thing.
I know,
and I am the worst person when I am hangry. So I'm eating snacks for the greater good.
Oh, wow.
Because normally, because the class we have together is at 11, and it's right after chapel, which is at 10, and so I'll sleep until 9:50.
That's a thing?
Ha ha ha. At OBU, you're required to go to chapel once a week.
So wait.
Yeah,
it's
an hour.
Harding, which is in the GAC, our school conference, because they have it every day.
Every day for how long?
It's the same length as ours, I think.
Oh my gosh! No, some of our chapels are good though. The guy with the water when he held out the water in his hand. That guy was.
We have good chapels.
Yeah.
And then we have other ones.
So I'll sleep until 10 minutes before chapel and then go to chapel, and I don't have time for breakfast. So then I'll get a snack in between chapel and the class I'm in with Noah. So then I'll be eating my breakfast while I'm with Noah. So he just thinks I eat all the time, but really it's just my breakfast and I'm hungry and I need to eat or else I'm gonna go.
To be fair though,
insane.
I know whenever chapel's done, I can text you and be like, "Hey, buy me chick."
That's true. You've done that a couple times.
I've done that.
Did I buy you
once.
chick?
Yes,
No,
you
I
did.
did buy you chick. Yeah, I did.
Because because I work study for the communications department, and that's right next to our class.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in there doing something, and it was right before class, and you were like, "Hey, I'm going to get," and you came in randomly. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to get chick." And I'm like, "Get me some."
Yeah, I
And
got
then
you
I
a chicken sandwich and a chocolate mug.
And then I was late to class for some reason. I think I was finishing something for work study, and then I came in, and I was like, "Do you have chick?" And it was on the table. Right when class ended, we were going our separate ways. I run up to you because I gave you my ID.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
We forgot to give it back to me, so I literally ran through Stu and found you. I was like, "Hey, I need my thing back. I need my student ID back, or else I can't go anywhere."
It's funny. Because the student ID is like what you use to buy Chick-fil-A and all that kind
To
of
buy stuff and to get into buildings. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
been able to get back into flipping parent.
stuff. Yikes.
Okay, just imagine a bunch of prospective students are listening to this.
Oh no. Oh no. Dr. Sells, I'm so sorry that Dr. Sells is like the president of OBU.
Great guy. Great
He's
guy.
he's so funny. He's so funny and he's so nice. He's like the best person ever. But if we scare away his prospective students, I don't think he'd be very happy with us.
You're wasting me money. I'm allowed to say that because if you know, all he talks about is money.
For real?
Have you never heard his speeches? Oh, he gives on
to be honest, I
long.
don't really pay attention.
Okay, neither do I. But like the first time I visited OBU, he gave a speech about how much he loves earning money for OBU.
Did he
It's a
really?
thing. Like, it's not a negative thing. That's just what he's passionate, because OBU was going bankrupt before he took over. So
He's doing a good job.
He is. He's done a good job. This is our official statements.
No, for real. In all seriousness, he's done a good job.
Depending on who you talk to.
Okay.
Yes. We do not represent anybody but ourselves. But yeah.
Yeah.
He's done a decent job fundraising. I mean, regardless what you think about him personally, you can't deny he's a good fundraiser.
Mm-hmm. For sure. He tries to be funny too. Like he tries to be like in the
that
know
Taylor
kind
Swift
of and
thing?
stuff.
He
Yes.
did that Taylor Swift thing at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
That was genuinely funny.
Yeah.
Like
Oh my gosh! I got to go up on stage. Do you remember that?
No, because I didn't know.
You don't remember that? Do you remember like when we were doing like the WoW groups and we had to go up on stage and we did like this Ouachita trivia thing? And the some of the communications. No, this was in JPAC.
No.
You don't remember that? It was me and Blythe, and we went up on stage with Dr.
It
Root.
was?
Yes.
Okay, Blythe is another communications major.
Yeah, she's
from Nebraska.
She's so sweet.
She's from Nebraska, so she's probably not watching. She probably doesn't have internet.
She has corn though. She has corn.
She's chucking that. Which, okay, I thought that was just a stereotype. She showed a video of her outside her house, all the corn, and I'm like,
no way. I thought that was a joke.
I'm like, no. I'm like, Blythe is a literal walking stereotype of a Nebraska cornhusker.
That's so funny. That's so funny. But if you talk to her, she's like the sweetest person you will ever talk to.
So sweet.
Always. She probably like has corn in her backpack too. If you want a snack, she can just pull it out and be like, I'm so sorry, Blythe.
Not.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. But that was me and her. We were like up on stage for the Ouachita trivia thing. With Dr. Root. I think Dr. Root was up there too.
Was it with Root?
Yeah.
He's the dean of the communications, and he's the dean of the humanitarian. How is it? Humanities?
Sure.
Is that the name of our school?
Sure.
Whatever.
Oh, and then so it's like a husband and wife team. So his wife is also a communications professor.
No, his wife is in charge of the communications department, and he's in charge of the education department.
I thought he
And
was communications.
He does both,
Okay.
but I think it's mainly her, or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe he's communications.
I think
and
he's
she's
like in charge of education and communication, like the humanities thing, and then she's like in charge of communication, like below. I don't know. But she's my feature writing teacher, and she's so sweet. She probably thinks I'm like the worst person ever, though, because whenever I go in that class, I'm so hungry, but there's like not enough people in class to like be able to eat without drawing a ton of attention to yourself. So I'm just sitting there with my stomach growling, and I probably look like I want to murder everyone in the class, but I promise I love the class. I love Dr. Root. I'm just hungry.
And speaking of murder, next podcast, no, for real though, yeah, no, she's the sweetest, she's the sweetest woman, Mrs. Root. Doctor, yeah, I'm gonna get kicked out of the communications department. I've done and said a lot worse.
Yikes. You want to elaborate on that?
Nope.
No.
But yeah. Why are we being so nice to these people? We're the rejects. They're supposed to, like, hate
We
on
have to get people to like our podcast first.
True.
And then we can hate on people.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, right? Or do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, I think that's it. Thanks all for listening. Next podcast, we're going to talk about a murder that, did it happen or did it not happen?
It legit happened.
A murder that happened on Ouachita, and we'll leave it at Ouachita, and we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. It may or may not be related to Tiger King. I just said that to get y'all to listen. So we're gonna say goodbye for now.
Hi guys.
Till next time, which could be never, because we may or may not put this out.
And we may or may not get kicked out of Ouachita.
All right.
Bye.
See y'all.